One of the things that made people fall in love with the Assassin's Creed franchise was the variety in playstyle. Throughout most of the games, you have quite overwhelming variety when it comes to how you approach a certain situation in the games. You have variety in weapon styles, in how you can approach it through verticality and using the buildings and your surroundings to your advantage. And in a lot of the games, you can also hire NPCs that serve different functions to allow you to complete a mission in creative ways. The ability for player expression through stealth, combat, parkour, and environment manipulation within Assassin's Creed is pretty unprecedented in AAA games. At least back in the day when Ubisoft was actually good at what they did. But one of the playstyles that I consider to be extremely underrated when it comes to playing Assassin's Creed is the idea of ghosting. For those who don't know, or for those who aren't very accustomed to playing a stealth gameplay style, ghosting has a variety of different definitions depending on how strict you want to be. Generally speaking, it refers to the idea of completing a mission without being detected and without killing anyone. Now in Assassin's Creed, that's pretty difficult to do because most missions require you to kill some sort of target by the end of it, especially in the later games. So usually ghosting in Assassin's Creed implies that you complete the mission only killing your target. Some people say, like the purists say, that you can't even disable the enemies, like choking them out but leaving them alive, and other people completely think that it's fine to choke out an enemy, leave him alive on the floor but not kill him. This is an extremely challenging way of playing a stealth game and playing in a stealthy way within Assassin's Creed that I think everyone should try at least once in their lifetime. Later on I'm going to talk about some of the best games that you can try playing the ghosting style in, but first I want to explain why it's such a good approach to gameplay from a narrative perspective and from a mechanical perspective. The easiest one to explain is obviously the narrative perspective. Assassins from a lore perspective are supposed to be people who spare the lives of innocents, and we can have a theological or a moral debate about whether people carrying out orders because of a greater belief or because they're following instructions are bad people. We can discuss whether these NPCs would be bad people, these guards that are trying to kill you and just doing their job. But at the same time, the Assassin's Creed tenets kind of push you towards the idea of a more pacifist playstyle. When you hear the words, "Stay your blade from the flesh of the innocent," for the most part, you want to stay away from killing people that are just kind of minding their business, even if they are guards. This is further doubled down by the fact that if you also have to hide in plain sight and never compromise the Brotherhood. Walking around being as violent as you possibly can, being a mass murderer and killing as many people as you can is not a very sustainable way of upholding those tenets. If you want to hide in plain sight, if you want to protect your Brotherhood, and you want to stay your blade from the flesh of the innocent, it goes without saying that it's a very good idea to practice ghosting, practicing a pacifist playstyle that reduces the mortality rate of your approach and ensures that the only person you're killing is the target that you're tasked with killing. From an immersion perspective, it goes even further than just being a good assassin. It also kind of links into being a more skilled and effective assassin. More skilled because it's obviously a more difficult thing to go through a level without killing anyone, and more effective because when we're looking at why assassins did what they did, why they created these situations that led to public executions or assassinations of important figures in history, you understand that the reason why was because it sent a message to the people and the people in power about what was sustainable, what they accepted, and how their ideology meshed with the current powers that be. Hunting down the Templars and only killing the head of the snake instead of trying to cut down the body is a very effective way of sending a message and striking fear while minimizing casualties. So therefore, from a narrative perspective, ghosting is a very immersive thing that you can do in most games in Assassin's Creed, at least to some degree. What's really interesting though about ghosting is that it's also extremely rewarding from a mechanical perspective. I don't want to go too in depth because if not, this video is going to be extremely long, but essentially stealth games usually have some sort of mechanical flaw in their design where they become easier the more that you kill guards. Some stealth games try and reward you and incentivize you to adopt a pacifist playstyle. For example, Dishonored tries to incentivize you by including a chaos meter that kind of influences the ending, and there's a lot of other games that influence how they would try and incentivize you to remain pacifist. Assassin's Creed is not one of these games. Assassin's Creed is notoriously a very casual game for a very casual audience. It's not supposed to be a difficult game. However, if you want to self-impose difficulty and try and be a more skilled assassin that would reflect the actual skill level that these assassins would have in real life if they existed, the best thing to do is to not remove your threats. Because think about it this way. If you have an area that's covered by plenty of guards with overlapping fields of vision, for every guard you kill, that area becomes incrementally easier to defeat. There are less points of danger, there are less overlapping fields of vision, and therefore there are more safe areas in this place that you can have. It's a very relaxing thing when you're having a casual playthrough to be able to just cut down guards slowly and create more and more of the area that you're trying to infiltrate, the restricted area. More and more of it becomes safe, so therefore you have somewhere to retreat to, somewhere to plan, somewhere to hide. It's a great thing when you're trying to take it slow. But if you want to go a bit more hardcore and take the skill level to another degree, what you can do is be in constant danger by not disabling these guards, by having this overlapping fields of vision affecting you at every point in time. Ghosting is something that you can use to challenge yourself to see how good you are at stealth and how good you are at utilizing your environment, understanding guard patterns, and using tools to manipulate guards to get them out of your way so that you can go through certain places. Because for the most part, ghosting allows you to just wait, and you wait for a guard to turn around so you can go to the next place. But sometimes, no matter how long you wait, there's always going to be one guard that's looking down on you. So how can you use a smoke bomb or a noisemaker or some NPCs to distract them and allow you to infiltrate that area without killing them, but also without being detected? So therefore, from a narrative perspective and from a mechanical perspective, I think that ghosting is a really underrated form of playing Assassin's Creed that I think can feel so rewarding, so immersive, and challenge you if you want to take Assassin's Creed a bit more seriously and try and find some way of increasing the skill requirement for these games, because they're generally pretty easy games. So what are the best games for ghosting? I wish that I could say AC1 because that's the game that I would feel it would be most rewarding in, but AC1 is kind of designed for you to be detected once you've completed an assassination, so it's very, very difficult to maintain ghosting throughout the entire game. So the best games that I would recommend to you for ghosting in Assassin's Creed would be Assassin's Creed Unity, which is actually possible to ghost the entire game outside of the scripted detection moments like in the tutorial and a couple other moments where you have boss fights or whatever. For the most part, it's actually possible to ghost the entire game. I've done it. A YouTuber called Sad did it a couple years ago, and it's a very achievable thing. Obviously not in one go because Unity is too broken for that, but if you want to set yourself a challenge of trying to complete every single mission in Assassin's Creed Unity ghosting, it's actually possible to do. The second best game to do it in is Assassin's Creed Mirage. I know a lot of people didn't like Assassin's Creed Mirage, and for them it's aging badly, but I think it's a wonderful stealth game that had a limited scope but achieved what it wanted to do, which was be a very faithful Assassin's Creed experience. I think it achieved that beautifully, and ghosting is one of the best ways you can stress test whether Assassin's Creed has a true authentic assassin experience, I believe. And Assassin's Creed Mirage is by far one of the best games that you can do ghosting in. I think most of the missions you can do ghosting, and this is even more challenging if you also self-impose permadeath or select the permadeath mode. At that point, you're just an absolute G and an Assassin's Creed master. So definitely try out Assassin's Creed Mirage non-lethal. The reason why I put it second after Unity is because Unity does allow you to choke out enemies and do non-lethal takeouts, which is kind of like a soft ghosting where you can still create these safe areas that we spoke about before while maintaining the non-lethal stipulation. And I think personally the third best game for ghosting is either AC Syndicate, because it's pretty close to Unity but actually has better designed black box missions, or I would say Black Flag again because it has a lot of availability for stealth. Black Flag had very good environmental stealth, and it also has non-lethal kills, which means even if you're not able to surpass a guard for X or Y reason, you can always disable them with a sleep dart or with a chokeout and ghost the entire mission. Those are the three games that I would recommend that you ghost. If you have done it or if you are going to do it, I'd love to know your thoughts on how hard you found it and what your relationship was with that playstyle, because I'm really interested in seeing what the opinion on ghosting is in 2024. I know it was a bit popular a few years ago when Leo K spoke about it. I started my other channel through ghosting, and it's just a playstyle that's very near and dear to my heart. So I'd love to know what you guys think of that playstyle. If you're interested in watching a video about increasing immersion, I actually just made a full guide on how to play Assassin's Creed Unity in a more lore accurate way. So if you're interested in doing that, which doesn't cover ghosting, which to be honest is another lore accurate way of completing that game, you could watch this video now.